This is Lost Adventure, and today's encounter is going to be about skeletons. Just your base normal skeletons with a small twist, and this one was written by James Ward. Now, as usual, this one can be found in REF3, the Book of Layers, and this layer is about skeletons. The skeletons will inhabit this tower, this four-level tower, and the story behind it is hundreds of years ago there was this evil wizard who his big thing was he made this fountain that spews this sort of gas. Well, this gas it creates or it animates the bones of anybody dead that gets touched by it. This wizard encloses it within his magical tower and ends up being a victim in it. Players will have to deal with him eventually later on. And the tower is only 4 levels tall. The first 2 levels is going to be about 80 feet in diameter, and the top 2 levels are 40 feet in diameter. And it's all made out of black obsidian type of stone. Now, Ward has designed this for characters of about 3rd level, so characters of 2 to 4, if depending on how good they are. And it's supposed to be set in a desert. It doesn't need to be set in a desert. You could put it in a jungle or deep woods or a ruins. But the biggest thing is when the players first find this tower, they're only going to be able to see the top level. They won't know it's a top level. Instead, they'll just see this squat black stone structure with what appears to be 2 entrances that are circular. These aren't supposed to be entrances. These are actually the windows on the top of the tower, but because it's been buried and the bottom 3 levels are underneath the ground, that's the only part they're going to be able to see. Ward has set up a couple of reasons how the players would find out about this adventure. The first is a basic set of rumors where the players will overhear somebody talking about an ancient wizard's tower full of magical treasures. And the other one is wherever they're at, for example, he put this in a desert. When they're in the desert at night, they'll see this pulsing green light in the distance. Where this light ends up being is where the tower is. Now, when the players find the tower, like I said, it'll just be the top level, and they'll just think it's a small, squat structure, and open up the windows or the entrances. They'll find that when they look in there, they'll just see a floor of, sand because sand seeped in over time. And when the players jump down here, nothing really happens unless they use any sort of magic or magical effect, in which case the bones of 10 individuals will animate and begin attacking the players. Either way, once the players are done dealing with the skeletons or if they begin searching without any magical means, they'll find a trap door in the center of the room. Now, this trap door is going to have a set of, unintelligible magical runes around it that'll begin glowing green when the players touch it. Now, obviously, your players will end up getting a little bit suspicious when the thing starts glowing green. They'll think it's a trap, like the normal explodey poison door trap. It's not, but also it is. You see, once the players decide to open up the door, it'll reveal a set of stairs, and at the same time, slabs of stone will close over both of the windows they came through. And as the trapdoors open, this green gas will come out of the door. This is the gas that comes out of the fountain that the wizard made a long, long time ago. It's been trapped in the lower 3 levels, and now it's seeping up into the 4th level. But apparently he designed some sort of emergency system that'll close any exterior ports to make it so the gas doesn't seep out. Personally, I think for an evil wizard, that's actually pretty thoughtful. So this green gas will come out, and all the players will have to take a check versus poison. Now, if you're using the older edition rules, like back me in Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, it's a save versus poison at -2. And if they fail, they lose a quarter of their hit points. If you're a 5th edition player, just make it a DC 12 Constitution check, and with the end result, if they fail, they'll lose a quarter of their hit points. Now, there is some ongoing effects with this gas too. This gas is going to be throughout the entire complex. Every hour, the players will have to take another check versus poison or lose 5 hit points. Their vision is reduced to only 10 feet in front or anywhere around them. They can only see 10 feet. And the final effect is that the players will find when their cleric tries to cast, turn undead, it's not going to be effective. So in Beckme and AD&D rules, we're talking about it's going to only turn half the amount of hit dice of undead monsters. For 5th edition rules, I would give the undead advantage against the save. So once the players get through this part, they'll see that there's a set of stone stairs that goes down to the next level, and they'll be able to see that there appears to have been a battle here. This battle looks to have been between a party of clerics versus a bunch of barbarians. You can tell who the clerics were because they have a bunch of holy symbols and maces, while the barbarians are clad in like furs and other stuff, and also some very weird looking metal axes. None of these bones are animate at this point. There's about 30 of them altogether, and as the players explore around, they'll just find all these bones everywhere. There's another trapdoor in the center. This trapdoor will glow green the entire time because apparently when the tower senses that there's any living thing within it, all the ruins for all the doors will glow green. It's like sort of like a modern exit sign. Ward doesn't really say when they become animated. He does have a part for what happens after you defeat them. I'm just going to go ahead and say that once the players try and open the trap door, all 30 of the skeletons will animate and there'll be a fight. Now, these 30 skeletons, most of them are perfectly fine. However, 10 of them have a slight green glow to them. It may seem a little weird, but the players will be able to defeat them just as easily as any other skeleton. Once they defeat these and open up the trap door completely and are able to go down the stairs, the 10 green skeletons will then reform into 2 ogre skeletons that will rush down the stairs to attack them. That's this encounter for, the 3rd level of the tower. The 4th level of the tower was the part that had the sand in the bottom, and the 3rd level is the one that has 30 skeletons in it. And now we're at the 2nd level of the tower. The 2nd level of the tower is going to be twice as big as the upper 2 levels. So we're talking about an 80-foot diameter rather than a 40-foot diameter. In here, there will be a stone slab bed-like thing made out of black stone with a skeleton resting upon it. This is going to be the body of the wizard. The entrance to the 1st level is also in here, but rather than being in the center, it's actually going to be off to one of the sides. Now, I should have mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to mention it now. Ward has not written any maps for this. You're going to have to design it yourself. He's just given descriptors on what it's like. There's also no windows beyond the top 2 that the players came through. So the skeleton on the slab will not animate or do anything unless the players mess with it. And players, being players, will probably mess with it, especially when they see it's wearing golden bracers and has a really nice ring on it. Now, the bracers are bracers of vampiric regeneration, which works like the ring, so it continues to regenerate, while the ring is a ring of free action. This guy is not a normal skeleton. He's titled Wizard Skeleton, and he's got 7 hit dice, and he's a little bit faster than the other ones. Now, it doesn't have any spells for him because I don't know, Ward didn't put any spells for him. But if you want to spice it up, go ahead and give him some spells so he can shoot it out there. Maybe give him another ring of magic missile that he can cast at these people, just to, make it a little bit more interesting. Now, once they're done with, the wizard skeleton over here, they'll be able to go to the final level. I guess they didn't really have to deal with the wizard skeleton. They just left him alone. He doesn't do anything. The final level's entrance, the stairs going up from the 1st level to the 2nd level, it's going to have a whole lot more gas and fumes coming out of it. Your vision is reduced down to 5 feet here, and within this level, there resides 12 skeletons. These skeletons are better, faster, and stronger than the previous skeletons that you have faced off against. They have more hit points, they have higher AC, they've been strengthened by the gas and the fumes. These 12 will fight the players down here, and the players will be able to eventually find the fountain, and it's pretty easy to shut off, so there's the ruins on it that are glowing green. If the players think of, ripping out one of the ruins or, damaging it in a sort of way, it actually shuts off the fountain. And once the fountain is shut off, it will turn all the skeletons that's animated into dust. I forgot to mention. So those 12 skeletons down here, one of them has this blade of like venom poison that on a natural 20 will force a player to take a like poison check or die. So if you were thinking of this like looking at it from like a 5th edition perspective, instead of making it a poison weapon, you can instead make it what's the name of that sword the one sword that on a natural 20 beheads somebody. Make it so the one guy's carrying that to make it a whole lot scarier. After that's it for the actual adventure. The players can open the double doors they find down here. However, that would be a bad idea because they're buried underneath sand, and sand will start pouring in. The characters will have to take saves versus suffocation. Try and make them run up the stairs to try and escape. If that's what you want to do. There's no real treasure in this adventure beyond the stuff that the wizard's wearing. This is an easy, just throw it off on the side sort of thing. Your characters, take a long rest and they see this green glow in the distance and they want to go investigate it. This is it. You just throw this right there. There's no biggie. It's not going to take that long either because Ward's implemented the whole gas thing that puts the players on a time limit, so they'll want to expedite finishing the mission rather than dying inside of here. This is not going to be a multi-trek adventure. This is going to be we need to get this done so we can escape. It doesn't say how the players escape, but I would say after the ruins are after the fountain shut off, the players will be able to go out the top the way they came, because let's say the wizard has some sort of internal system that notices the gas has been shut off, so the slabs leave the windows it was covering. It's okay. It does what it's supposed to. I mean, there's a whole bunch of skeletons in here that make the battle a little bit more interesting. And it can be as deadly or as easy as the players make it. For rating, I'll give this one's only going to get a 3. It's average. It's okay. It's going to take one session to complete. For value, the book in general just gets at a 4 out of 5. And for deadliness, let's go ahead and give this one this one's a 2. This one's not that deadly. The players, as long as they're not stupid, can be able to deal with it. So it's designed for 6 level 3 players. And yeah, it's not that bad. So most of the skeletons only have 4 hit points, which is like 1 hit apiece. The 30 skeletons that they'll run into on the 3rd level is probably going to be the scariest fight. The ones on the 1st level, though a little bit tougher, aren't really... They're just more hit points they have to deal with. It's like you have to punch the punching bag a little bit more to make it fall apart. So maybe 2 hits each, possibly. You can even finish them off in 1 hit. And there's 12 of them down there. The only thing that's going to get the players is if they actually nothing should really get the players. I mean, unless they're playing really, really poorly, they should be fine. But that's just my opinion. The deadliness for this one's only a 2. It's not that bad. Level 3, level 4 players will be able to deal with this one pretty good. That's it for today's encounter. This one was pretty short. It's only 1 page. And seems pretty useful to me. You just throw this thing in the middle of nowhere and... oh, go fight some skeletons. It's going to take up the entire session as I think up what I'm going to actually do for the real session that's coming up next time. So I hope this helps out somebody out there. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.